Thank you for seeing my thumbnail and saying, oh, you know what? I haven't seen this girl before, but I'm gonna click on the video and I'm gonna watch it. And for those of y'all returning, thank you so much for being an OG. Today, I wanted to talk about how to accelerate manifestation and accelerate the law of attraction and how and why your manifestations haven't come true yet, okay? And this is part of it. Accelerating the law of attraction, accelerating manifestation, that is part of it. Sometimes our manifestations are taking longer than normal to come true. So I'm gonna help y'all with that because I've been there, I've done that many times, and I'm here to teach y'all so you don't have to go through the same thing, okay? You can learn from my wisdom because, girl, sometimes I was like, what were you thinking, okay? So let's get into it. These are going to be the top ways that you can accelerate the law of attraction. Let's get into it. The first thing you need to do to accelerate the law of attraction and really manifest your reality is you have to start to devote to you. You have to devote to yourself. This is number one. Okay, if you want to manifest anything in your life, especially if you're trying to manifest your future version of you, the 3.0 version of you, your higher self, your future self, if you really are committed to that, then you have to pour into you. Nobody else is going to do it for you. You have to pour into you. And before y'all start, I'm not talking about investing and buying a coach or what. That's not what I'm talking about. You need to start pouring in the time and the intention into yourself, okay? You have to prioritize your happiness consistently. It cannot be oh, I'm gonna do it for 1 or 2 weeks and all my manifestation is gonna come true. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You need to pour into yourself consistently. And the best way to do this is little by little over time. I'm talking 5 minutes a day. Commit to that. Commit to that for a year first. 5 minutes a day. Devote to yourself. You need to devote to yourself in order to become your future self. Why? Because your future self is working on her or him for some of y'all, okay? Your future self, the one that is successful, that is bringing abundance into your life, she has the ability to do this because she loves herself, fully loves herself. Because she spent the time, she's put in the work to devote to herself. If we really want to get that higher energy constantly, if we really want to get that abundance of energy, the feeling like you are on cloud 9 24/7, the people who are on that level, they love themselves. And for a lot of us, the way to go on that path, to start that journey, is by devoting to ourselves. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't mean go on a date and go on a solo date by yourself and, you did it. Magically, it's done. That's not what I mean. I mean committing to the long-term relationship with yourself. When we go on dates, right, we really want to get to know a person. When we want to get to know a person more, we spend more time with them, right? That's what you got to start doing with you. You got to spend more time with you. You have to start prioritizing spending time with you, with yourself. You can't just go on 1, 2, 3, 4 dates and then that's it. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to do this for a year and then I'm good. No. This is a lifelong journey. And I don't even want to say journey. It's a lifelong commitment. You really got to show yourself, I am devoted to myself. I am devoted to you. I am devoted to be my higher self. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to dip my toes in the water and then get back. No, 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 no. And this is like a big issue because this is why a lot of y'all who might be watching this have attracted, the same kind of relationships, the same kind of people in your life. It's probably because your higher self is telling you, girl, you need to spend more time with yourself. That's it. When you start to attract the same experiences over and over again, it just means that you need to start to go within yourself. You need to start committing to you. You need to pour into yourself, okay? Not sprinkle some water. You need to pour water into yourself, okay? This is so important. You need to devote to yourself. Once you start devoting to yourself consistently, to the point where you don't even see what you're doing as devoting to yourself, it's just part of your daily habit, that's when you're going to get your manifestations. That's when the law of attraction is going to start happening like this. But you have to start with that consistent practice. You've got to. For those of y'all really struggling, at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about the many different options that I have for y'all to help you with this, okay? And free at that, okay? Completely free courses, resources for y'all to devote to yourself. We need to get on board with this. This is probably the biggest issue that this world has had. This is the biggest issue that I had in the past, dealing with over 15 years of depression. And that's obviously on and off, but choosing to sit in that negativity, choosing to sit in that sadness, choosing to sit in that loneliness, which we'll get to that in a second, because loneliness is another thing that I feel like has been a lie that's been told to us. But sitting in that loneliness, you know, choosing to say, oh my God, nobody likes me. Choosing to think, I don't want to be myself. I want to be somebody else. Choosing to sit in that. I spent so many years sitting in that energy. And I feel like it really wasn't until I kind of left the system somewhat briefly, that I started to realize like, oh, this is BS. This is not for me. This is why I spent 15 years not manifesting the reality that I wanted to be in. This is why I never felt like I got what I wanted or I got what I needed. It's because I chose, in a way, to punish myself. I chose to stay in that low frequency. I chose to stay in that low vibration. And it wasn't until I chose to stay in a high frequency, it wasn't until I chose to stay in a high vibration that I started to really see me and see myself and love myself. And also love the version of me that was in a lower vibration. Love the version of me that felt alone. And real quick, I'm going to explain what I mean by alone, right? When I put that in quotes. One of the biggest lies that I think Western society has done a very good job at lying to us about is this concept of loneliness. Loneliness is one of the biggest acts of self-love because you are choosing to be with yourself. You are choosing yourself over everybody else. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's not something to be like, oh, like, you know, I'm a loser because I have no friends or whatever, like, which is 9 times out of 10 not true, right? When you really think about it, you always have friends. You always have somebody who loves you, okay? I love you. Every single person watching this, I love you. You've got to know that. You've got to know that. You have to devote to yourself. This is absolutely the number one requirement, the number one way that people, or the number one thing that people miss when they start to manifest the reality. They don't pour in that self-love. You've got to do it. Doesn't matter what religion you're from, doesn't matter what you believe in. If you want to get closer to God, if you want to get closer to the universe, if you want to get closer to whatever it is you believe created this earth, created this world, you have to love yourself first. You want to get into that higher vibration, you have to love yourself. You want to manifest your dream reality, you have to love yourself. You want to attract your soulmate, say it. Yeah, that's right. you got to love yourself. Okay? You have to devote to yourself, number one. That was long because that was part 1 of 6. We're going to keep on going. Okay? So, number 2, when you are manifesting your reality, and actually, we're gonna move this around real quick. Okay. Number 2, when you're manifesting your reality, the second thing you absolutely need to do, and this kind of ties into the first one, is you have to prepare to receive. This is one thing that I learned, and especially when I first started manifesting with like new moon, full moon cycles, that I just missed. I don't think it's really talked about as much, right? People always talk about, oh, manifest your reality. Oh, like it's, just do the ceremony during the new moon. Use these words, don't use these words. Sign is for your higher self, put some candles there. But they never talk about this. They never talk about how you need to prepare yourself. You need to prepare yourself to receive your manifestations. For example, I'll use myself as an example, actually. So when I was younger, like 6 years ago, and I wanted to get into the music industry, right? At first, I wanted to get into the music industry as a singer. So I did my little new moon, full moon ceremony. I was like, okay, let me, write down manifestations, sign with the label, check, get $1 million deal, check, like that type of stuff, which I'm happy that didn't manifest because that was not for me at that time either. Because I'm so blessed that stuff did not come true when I was younger, because I think I would have been caught up into a lot of other stuff that young women are caught up in that industry. But the thing was, I could sing, right? But I could not sing like on key for more than like 10 minutes, and that's like once a week, not consistently. So I didn't have the vocal like muscle or training that a lot of these famous like women singers, successful singers had. Okay, so the universe saw this and was like, girl, like you want to be a world singer and you can't even sing for more than 10 minutes? What are you going to do with the record deal? It's going to go in the garbage, right? So my point is, right, you need to prepare yourself to receive. And if you feel that you aren't prepared to receive, then that's where you have to focus on manifesting first. Okay, you can still put the end result in your manifestations. You can still visualize the end result, but you need to start taking small, actionable steps towards that. They don't have to be this huge, okay, I'm going to train, I'm going to do vocal training at 9 a.m. in the morning. And then at 10 a.m., I'm going to do like a throat massage, I don't know, to relax my muscle. Then at 11 a.m., I'm going to go back to training with the choir. And that it doesn't have to be all that, okay? It needs to be just something that you enjoy doing so you can do it consistently. And it gives you that dopamine kick you need. And it needs to be something that you can stick to over a long period of time. Okay? But you have to prepare to receive, okay? That's one example. The other really great example is, really easy example to understand. So if you didn't understand that example, is if you're trying to manifest a farm, but you can't even grow a plant. You can't even keep your house plants alive. What are we doing? What are you going to do with the farm? You're going to kill all of the plants in the farm. Man, that's terrible. That's terrible. It's really not that funny. But why would the universe give you a farm if you can't even take care of your house plants? Okay? My baby. This one is actually doing okay. It's a little beat up because I keep on like, anyway, so that's beside the point. But so you have to prepare to receive. Now, you have to prepare in 3 ways. These are the 3 major ways you have to prepare to receive your manifestation, especially if you're trying to level up your life, especially if you're trying to quantum leap, especially if you're trying to get into your future self, okay? The successful, the person who stands like this instead of like this. If you're trying to get into that energy, right, you got to prepare yourself in 3 ways: through your body, through your mind, and through your soul. Now, let's go ahead and break these down real quick. When you prepare through your body, you do not have to go to the gym, hire a trainer. And honestly, if you are coming from a space where you haven't even like worked out consistently for even 1 year, I would not recommend that. This is my personal opinion. You can ask anybody else's opinion. I wouldn't recommend the trainer and the gym thing. No. Just commit to working out, period. That's it. 3-4 times a week. I do 4 times a week. That seems very stable. 4 is the number of a foundation. It's the number of like stability. So if you really want like a good number to work with, 4 times a week, okay? If you want a good foundation with anything. So you can do that, and it doesn't have to be a 30-minute, 1 hour thing. Start with, I think I started with 15 minutes. 15 to 30 minutes is how I started. And then eventually, I think halfway through the year, I got up to an hour and I actually started going to the gym. But I started with home workouts, 15 to 30 minutes. That's it. Okay? Stick with the consistency. If you don't want to work out, oh, that's the other thing too. Not if you don't want to work out. Find a workout that you enjoy. So if you love to dance, do a dancing workout. Dance for 15 minutes. If you like to do yoga, do yoga. But do something you enjoy so you also get that dopamine kick. That'll also help you commit to it over a long period of time, okay? So you have your body and then your mind. You've got to train your mind. There's a really great quote. Oh, man, I wish I brought it up. But there's a really great quote by Dr. Marissa Peer. I think it's Marissa Peer. And she basically says that, I'm summarizing the quote, that mindset is one of the best healers. You can heal yourself through your mindset. I don't know, maybe some of y'all, this is new information, because I know a lot of y'all maybe have gone to therapy and you're like, I've been through years of therapy. It's not really working. It's your mindset. You got to get your mindset straight, okay? So that's your body, your mind. Do one action step every day. Gratitude is an excellent place to start. 9 things you're grateful for when you wake up in the morning and when you go to bed at night, okay? That's it. That's your mindset. The third thing is your soul, okay? This goes back to devoting to yourself. You got to love who you are. You got to love your soul. You've got to, okay? You got to spend quality time with your soul. That doesn't mean watching TV. Doesn't mean scrolling on your phone, okay? This means, and your soul like loves to expand, right? So doing stuff that's going to help your soul expand is really going to fuel your soul. That might mean looking at a new makeup tutorial and figuring out how to do a new type of makeup, okay? Educating yourself, doing something different. Just do something different. Change up the routine. Souls love change ups in routine. Souls love something new because it allows us to feel accomplished after we change the routine and we did that. We could tell ourselves we did that. Okay? So that's your body, your mind, and your soul. You have to prepare your body, mind, and soul. Absolutely. If you don't do this, that's probably one of the reasons why you haven't manifested what you needed to manifest, okay? This will also accelerate the law of attraction. Okay. 3, you need to overcome your limiting beliefs. And I have to say this. Your limiting beliefs journey is a journey. I started processing my limiting beliefs, I feel like 4 years ago. And every time I want to step up my life, I want to manifest something new, I want to attract something new into my life, I have to go through that process of processing limiting beliefs. I have to. Because sometimes there's stuff that I didn't catch early on that now I'm like, oh, wait, that was the reason why I didn't attract that much money that amount of money that I wanted. Oh, yeah, that's the reason why, oh, girl, of course I didn't get the body I wanted because I didn't do A, B, and C. And I chose to believe that I couldn't get the body to start with. So what we doing? You've got to acknowledge your limiting beliefs, okay? And at the end of this video, I'm going to tell y'all how you can start right now. I'm going to give y'all a resource to start working on your limiting beliefs right now, okay? So that's 4, okay? And on top of that, right now, if you follow me on Instagram, I'm doing one thing that accelerated the law of attraction that allowed me to quantum leap about 4 years ago. Going from living in a house with 8 people to living in luxury studios in Tulum, Mexico, okay? And that is that I spent 30 days, spent a whole month doing something that challenged me every single day. And on my Instagram, I'm calling on more people to do it with me so that they can accelerate the law of attraction also. This is a hack. You have to get uncomfortable. You have to face your fears. You have to face your limiting beliefs. You process them and then you face them. Then you challenge them. And you make sure you're telling yourself the right thing to overcome those limiting beliefs, okay? So just those 3 steps right there. If you do those 3 steps, you're good to go. Okay, so that was number 4. Number 5. When you are visualizing, you absolutely need to focus on the feeling. It's not enough to just visualize, oh, I'm going to be on a beach, or I'm going to live in New York City. I'm going to live in a penthouse apartment. You know, like I'm imagining walking into the hotel and I'm, you know, talking to the concierge or the bellboy or whatever. And, you know, I just give him my bags and I don't have to worry about it. You know, my point is, it's not enough to like, I really went on a tangent there. I feel like that was like a timeline that I don't really care to be in, but maybe it's a timeline that there's a part of me that wants to be in, but I don't really think so. But my point is, you got to harness the feeling. There have been so many times where I visualized what I thought I wanted, what I thought I desired, and there is no feeling attached. I was like, wow, okay, I live on a penthouse apartment and I'm not really that excited. Like, think about what excites you about the penthouse apartment. Why do you want that penthouse apartment, right? Are you an introvert and you just really want to be that far away from everybody else? That's great. Actually, that sounds amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, just like I was just like, actually. Sorry. It's just like the introvert part of me is like, that's beautiful. You know, but honestly, if I'm visualizing that, I don't think it would be that part that, well, no, that would be part of it. But I think part of the feeling would be like looking at the view. Oh my God, looking at the view every day when I'm eating dinner, watching the sunset from those windows above everybody else. Come on now, like that's it. That's where I'm going to get the feeling when I visualize that, right? So you have to focus on the feeling, okay? I will also give you a resource for this, a resource that'll allow you to apply the feeling to any visualization, meditation, guide, audio, book, whatever you want to call it. I'll give you a resource that applies to all of that so you can make sure to focus on the feeling, okay? No matter what kind of resource you're using. Okay. 5. I want to say that's 5. 5. 4? 6? I think we're at 5 or 6. 5. Sorry. Okay. The 5th thing you need to do, and this one is, I would say, the hardest, but it's key. It's key. Unfortunately, it's key. And this was something when I first quantum leaped, if you guys haven't heard my story yet, I didn't know what I was doing when I first quantum leaped. I knew that I was manifesting. I knew that I was frustrated with this like new moon, full moon process, because I guess when I first started doing those, I was like, oh, it's only gonna take 30 days. Let's do it, which is not true at all. So I think I was kind of done with that process because I did it so many times and I was like, nothing's going on, like nothing's happening. So I stopped doing that. I switched to my own manifestation method, which allowed me to pour more intention consistently over a long period of time. But the key was that I let go. So one of the biggest hacks that I'll just tell y'all now, was my scripting method. This was the biggest hacks that allowed me to quantum leap. This is what's going to allow you to accelerate the law of attraction, okay? The scripting method that I used was I scripted first thing every morning, consistently, every single day, no weekends off, every single day for 80 days. Excuse me. Now, with the knowledge that I have now, you don't have to do 80 days. You don't have to do 80 days anymore. You can actually do it less. But the point was that I changed my whole routine. Because I did the scripting method, I changed my whole routine. I had to. I couldn't go out and then wake up in the morning with my head groggy and then doing these manifestations. I had to wake up with a clear mind. I couldn't wake up with, my boyfriend or, my boyfriend talking to me in the morning. I had to wake up with a clear mind, with a clear focus. I couldn't wake up and immediately go on my phone and text people. I had to leave my phone to the side and focus on scripting. And because I did that, it allowed me to accelerate the law of attraction. But the ultimate thing was, after those 80 days, I let go. I told myself, look, if it happens, it happens. If some of my manifestations happens and others don't, that's okay. Because honestly, I was trying to manifest some stuff with like other people that actually 4 years later, almost 5 years later, hasn't even come true yet. Like, it hasn't, like, how do I put this? Like, I was trying to manifest me being in this conference, and the conference, they did it once in 2019, and then that was it. So it may not even be, a possible reality, but I let go. But I didn't let go and go back to my old ways. I let go. I embraced the change. I kept up with the change. I didn't necessarily manifest after. I switched to what I do. I think at that point I switched to gratitude statements, and then sometimes I'll do a full new moon ceremony if I really felt called to. But I let go. And it's crazy because I didn't even, I didn't know quantum leaping was a thing. I was sort of into manifestation, but like I didn't really know, I wasn't like fully into it. I was just kind of doing it, and doing it well, apparently. But I let go. I didn't, I stuck with my self-development. That was the key. I stuck with my self-development. Even after I did my manifestations and my scripting, I stuck with that. I kept up with it. Even to this day. Not consistently, I will say that, but even to this day. There's some of the practices that I did in order to quantum leap that I still do today. So you have to let go. You have to let go. And it was crazy because I did the 80 days of scripting. So that was like January. Okay. So then I did February, the limiting beliefs, where I faced my fears, addressed discomfort, things that I was nervous about, for 30 days. And then in March, like within the first 2 weeks of March, COVID hit. I was in another country when COVID hit. And so I stayed there. I lived in paradise. It was like really, really, really crazy, really empowering. Y'all have seen my Tulum video on my channel. I show you what Tulum looked like during the pandemic. Empty. Beaches empty. Streets empty. There was nobody. Because usually this town is built for tourism, right? So they have millions of people coming through this town every year. And it was just so empty because the tourists were the people who lived in the downtown area. So I have footage of the downtown area, and you don't see anybody. Okay. And then all of the locals were, pushed out because it's less expensive on the outskirts of the town. But anyway, it was a really magical time. I definitely consider myself one of the lucky few who I don't even know what to call it. Blessed by God. I don't know what to call it. But it was a huge blessing because I saw parts of the world like that were so abundant. Like, this was the first time I had lived in true abundance, where fruit is growing on trees. I wanted lime, I wanted to make lemonade. I go outside, it's on a tree. I get one and I come back into the house, and I never had to worry about running out because the tree is right there and there's hundreds of them on the tree, and it's enough for the whole neighborhood to get some limes. Everybody was getting limes from that tree. Like, I never experienced abundance like this before in my life. Like, it was insane. And it was just so beautiful to have the opportunity. This is one thing that a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to COVID. Yeah, there were a lot of casualties. Rest in peace, especially for those of y'all who were affected and who knew somebody who was affected. I'm very sorry for that. But one of the things that, And one of the things that I recognized was that this, like, COVID was a huge opportunity for us to go in. And I think a lot of people missed that opportunity. But I think at the end of the day, a lot of people also recognize, oh, we have to deal with our mental health a little bit more. Like, I need to work on this, you know? But the other big thing was the earth had like space to breathe. I went to these towns and I remember going to the beaches with the locals, and the locals would always tell me, every single like small beach town I went to, they would always tell me the water is never this clean. And I was like, what are you talking about? It was like, it's usually dirty because cruise ships come in here, they dump stuff in the water, it's disgusting, you can't even see the sand. Like, this was the first time, probably in like 200 years, the earth was actually able to breathe. If you need to pause the video and think about it, just do that. So for me, yeah, COVID was, I was very, very privileged, very blessed to be where I was during COVID. But again, even though I was where I was, I didn't like say, oh, well, I guess I'm here. I don't need to work on myself anymore. I'm good. I actually worked on myself more during COVID. I did more yoga because I had more time. I did more meditation. I did more of processing my limiting beliefs and my emotions. I think that's the key. It's like, you have to understand that our soul is like a huge catalyst in our lives. And our soul loves to grow, loves to feel nourished, loves to expand. And if you're keeping up with that, you're going to keep on accumulating wealth. You're going to accelerate the law of attraction. Honey, there's nothing that's going to stop you. Okay? Okay, so that was 5. That was a lot, but that was 5. Let go, be happy. Oh yeah, let go and then be happy where you're at. Be satisfied with where you're at. That's the other thing. Before I did my little quantum leap, I mean, really, I call it a quantum push. I feel like God was like, well, girl, you know, this is what you wanted. So there you go. Like, but it was like a push into like the warmest, coolest waters. Like, it was amazing. But my point is, even before that, I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew that I was saving up all this money. I didn't know what for. And that I chose to see the beauty in where I was. I would, whenever I got depressed too, this is like a huge hack. If you do get depressed or if you do feel down on this journey, because it happens when you're trying to elevate, it happens. But when I did feel down, I always went to nature. I was like, you know what? I think it's time for a walk. So I would go into nature. I would sing in nature. This is something I'm really revealing, like, me. But yeah, this is one thing that I do. Like, whenever I feel down, I'll go into nature and I'll just sing one of my songs, and I'll sing to the trees or to the birds, or to the crabs. I'll tell y'all that that's like a story of when I went to Brazil. But I was like singing on the beach one time, and there was nothing, like I couldn't see, there was just sand, right? But I was singing, and I just kind of sat down in one place and started singing, and then all of these like the cute crabs, not the big ones, but like the small ones with like the eyes, I don't know what to call them, but they have the eyes that look like this, and their eyes are like on top. Anyway, so they're like really cute. But they just started poking their heads out and like looking at me, and I was like, oh my God, like, your girl, the Little Mermaid. No, not really, but like low key, I was like, okay, well, this is what's happening. I hope I'm singing good, you know, like, okay. So anyway, you have to be happy where you're at. That's the key. Okay. Okay. Let's get to the last one. The last one, and then we're going to get into the do now and the journal prompts. Okay. But the last one is optional, but it's magical, and it will really transform your life. And this is for those of y'all who really feel stuck in the same place with the same people, and you've been there for years. Okay. This is for y'all. You need, and this might be the one thing that will really have you attract all of the abundance into you. And maybe even for me, that's what allowed me to attract all of that abundance. That's what allowed me to attract my quantum leap. Is changing your environment. And this is one of the biggest things. I've heard a lot of psychiatrists, top entrepreneurs, neurologists. I was like, what's the third one? Neurologists. They've all said the same thing. The environment is the biggest obstacle that stops a lot of people from transforming, from developing themselves, from becoming their future selves. It's always the environment. So if you can change your environment, even if it's just for 1 or 2 days, even if it's just for a week. You will allow yourself to be put in a new environment, sort of diving into the unknown so that you can attract your manifestation, so that you can attract everything that you could want in your life, and sometimes even more than you even thought you needed. You have to change your environment, okay? Absolutely change your environment. Okay, and I'll talk more about how to change your environment and the resource that I'll give you for free at the end of this video, okay? I know I keep on saying that, but just bear with me. So now we're gonna get into the do now, okay? Y'all all know, I love my do nows, okay? We're gonna do right now. Okay, so your do now, listen up. You gotta do it right now. For today is look around your room. If the first thing you see is a pen, then you're gonna get the pen and you are going to write 18 things you're grateful for as if you were your future self. Okay? Now, if the first thing you see is a paper, sorry, that was the other one. I should have, just bear with me. If the first thing you see is a paper, I'm not saying look for it, just look around the room like this, okay? First thing you see is a pen, which I don't even see a pen. I don't see a pen anywhere. So if the first thing you see is a pen, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna write down 18 things you're grateful for as if you are your future self. Make sure to focus on the feeling, okay? Cannot emphasize that enough. Now, the second thing you see is a paper, which I see a paper right there in the printer. So that would be for me. You're going to get that blank piece of paper. You're gonna put it in, even if it's written on it. Well, try to get a blank piece of paper, but blank piece of paper, notebook, something. You're going to visualize living in your future home. Focus on the feeling, okay? And to help y'all with this, what is stuff that nourishes you? Think about the times you're on vacation. Think about the times where you were truly like high, but naturally high, right? Like you were in abundance. You were like, oh my God, like this is my life, Like when you were really like in that energy, that might help you figure out what really fuels you, okay? So you can get that feeling. But you're gonna visualize for about 3 minutes where your future self is living, how she's living, what she's doing, okay? Focus on the feeling. Okay? If y'all really want to, you can do both, but choose one or the other. Just do one or the other. Like, that's what I found with myself, because I'm really one of those people like, no, I'm gonna do both. But like, just choose one and get it done, okay? And then once you choose one and get it done, if you have the energy after that, then sure, do the second one, but do one, get it done, okay? So now we're gonna get into the journal prompts, and then at the end, I'm gonna tell y'all the free resources. And some of y'all who already follow me and know me, y'all already know where the free resources at. So y'all could probably just skip the ending part and just get to where it's at. Okay. So journal prompts. What can I do to change my environment, even if it's just for a day in the next 3 to 6 months? What is one thing you can do? Okay. This can be something small, like just setting up a sacred space in your room, a sacred corner. Okay. A sacred desk, a sacred shelf on your bookshelf, okay? Some of us have really small spaces, so we gotta work with what we have. Okay, figure out how you can change it in the next 3 to 6 months. And see if you can make some big changes in your life, okay? So again, that journal prompt is, what can I do to change my environment, even if it's just for a day, within the next 3 to 6 months? If y'all need something a little bigger, you can start saving up for that solo trip. And when I say solo trip, I mean solo trip, okay? The next journal prompt is, how do I want to feel when all my manifestations come true? This probably should have been number 7, to be completely honest, but it's okay. This is huge. This is huge. This is one thing that a lot of people miss. Whenever you are intending for something to happen, You want to focus on the feeling that you're going to get when it happens, a week after it happens, a month after it happens, a year after it happens. Because sometimes, and I'll admit, I've manifested stuff, it comes true, and then I'm like, this is not how I wanted to feel. What am I doing? What's going on here? I don't feel as excited as I thought. Is this supposed to happen? This is like literally energy that I would be in. Because I didn't intend the feeling that I wanted after it. So intend the feeling, okay? Visualize what feeling do you want after you get your manifestations. Now, honestly, if they are in alignment, it should kind of happen naturally, okay? But there might be some manifestations that maybe you need in your life. Maybe you thought you needed, and maybe the world is telling you you really don't need. But intend the feeling, okay? Especially if you're studying for a test and stuff like that. Especially if you're working towards a bigger goal. Intend the feeling, okay? Intend like I feel accomplished after the feeling. I felt like I aced that test. I felt like, I definitely got that certificate with flying colors, okay? And the third one is, what small action step can I take every day to bring positive change in my body, mind, or soul? Okay. Small action steps. One little thing. Doesn't have to be a big thing, but you got to commit to it consistently over time. Okay. Minimum 21 days. And the last one is, what is my dream life like? Okay. Really visualize like if everything just went right and the sky was, well, I like a blue sky, so we're gonna keep it blue. But but maybe the grass was pink, okay? I don't think I want pink grass either. But maybe the grass was pink, okay? What would that dream life look like? Just do that. Just pour into the imaginative, childlike part of yourself that I know we all have, okay? Pour into it. Try to pour into it once a month to really fuel that part, okay? Because I feel like when we were children was when we were really, truly, deeply connected with our souls, okay? For some of us, it might have gotten interrupted a little bit, when we were 1, 2, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, it depends on who you are. But connect with that part of yourself again, okay? Now, this was the part y'all have all been waiting for. Or maybe some of y'all skip to this part, which is okay. It's fine. I've done it before. Many times. And that is the resources. So I have one big resource for y'all, and that is the Wellness Library. On the Wellness Library, I just updated it. It has the visualization that focuses on the feeling. Okay, so there's one. Also on the Wellness Library, or in the Wellness Library, you have the Accelerating Law of Attraction Guide. Okay, that's on there also. So all the stuff we talked about, it's on there. You can print out the guide, use it whenever you need to, hang it up on your wall so you can see it and be like, okay, we're committed to this. My body, mind, and soul is committed to this. And I want to say this. Oh, and 3. So if you are new to devoting to yourself, or not new, but it's like you've done it, but you haven't done it consistently, I have a really special treat for you, okay? I'm now enrolling in my Devotion to Self course, my spring cohort, okay? There's a very limited spots left for this group, okay? Very limited spots. I want to say 12, maybe a little more than 12, but limited spots, okay? So if you're watching this and it's still March, y'all have the opportunity to not just join the course, but also get 50% off. See, I hesitated a little bit. I'm sorry. 50% off, okay? You guys get 50% off. This whole course. It's a 9-week course. You're working with me. You have classes every week. We have a Q&A every week. 50% off. Only in March, okay? What is it, March? It's like March 9th today. Only in March. So you got to hop on this limited spaces. And if you see, if it's like March 20th or March 30th, and you're like, oh my God, like all these people watch this video, I don't know if, don't think like that. Think positively. Like think, what are the chances that I can get into this course also, okay? So that is in the link in the description. The Wellness Library, link in the description, okay? And for those of y'all who want to solo travel, I'll even put the, well, just go to my site. And on my site, there's the free solo travel safety guide, completely free. It's a full book, full guide on how to be safe when you travel, okay? But ultimately, what I want y'all to know is that you need to love yourself to start attracting the things that you desire in your life. That is the ultimate source of the law of attraction, is love. Love living your life. Love having what you have. Love being where you're at. Love the abundance you're surrounded by. I don't care if you live in a shack, okay? You are surrounded by abundance. There's nothing but abundance. This earth is abundant. This land is abundant. It's everywhere. Even if you live in a city, there's an abundance of windows. There's an abundance of buildings. There's an abundance of roaches too. That's true. That's true. But there's an abundance everywhere. So stop choosing to see lack. Start living in love, okay? And start being abundant now. I know y'all can do it. I know y'all can do it. Come on. It's so easy. And the Wellness Library also has an abundance of resources. It's not just the stuff that I listed. There's a bunch more stuff. There's stuff on, there's a whole, I think 4 lessons on how to love yourself, how to date yourself. Because I really want y'all to be on the self-love journey. Because like I said, I spent too many years living in self-hate. And and it's part of my purpose to start empowering you to live in love and live in an abundance of love, because that's what's here, is love. Start seeing love. Start being love. Commit to it. And you will be met with it. Okay. I love y'all so much. Peace.